You know, it would be impossible for us to try to tell you what sort of artwork to purchase for your home because art is very personal. It's a feeling that you get from the heart. You see it and it strikes a chord inside of you. Something clicks, and whether it goes with anything you've got or not, you have to have it. Now that's when purchasing art becomes fun. It also is a very strong expression of your personality and taste, and whether it's the colors, the shapes, or the subject matter, you know it's right for you. Well, those of you that already have a collection of art know exactly what I'm talking about.
Or if the world of art is new to you, there are many ways to get started. Visit a museum, art galleries, art shows, or even your favorite furniture department. Shop around. Become familiar with art. Ask questions. Talk to curators, art dealers, or even the artists themselves. You'll start to get a feeling for what you really like.
Now take a few moments and look around your room at your artwork. Take a look at the frame, the colors, and the subject matter. Does it really reflect you and coordinate nicely with your surroundings?
This is what you should be thinking about when you visit the experts.
And take your colors with you, whether it's an arm cap off the sofa or an accessory pillow.
You may want to take along your room measurements with you, or better yet, take along a photo. It gives the expert something to work with.
Now, we went to see our expert, Marlene Forst of Forst Gallery. And Matt and I walked into the gallery and did exactly what you would do, sort of looked at everything on the walls and really couldn't find anything that we liked. So Marlene took me upstairs and I looked through a lot of her catalogs and books.
I had an opportunity to go through the print cases and see the prints life size.
So come along with us and we'll go out and about.
These books are comparable to like somebody going through wallpaper. We've got endless possibilities of prints, and there's books and books of all kinds of things. We've got impressionism, we have abstract, we have black and white photos, we have landscapes, and they're divided into categories. For people who are looking for animals, we've got that. We've got just about everything that you could think of that you might want.
Makes it easy to find something
then. Plus we have another whole group of like limited edition prints, which are more collectible in value. They're signed, they're numbered. That's another whole different category for people who are looking for art that will appreciate in value. So we have these kind of possibilities.
Is there a price difference between the two then?
Yeah, basically with your posters, you're looking at starting at about $16 up to about $35.
Ooh, very reasonable.
Yeah, when you get into limited edition prints, you're probably looking more starting point of $50. More probably like $200, and on up to $1,500, $1,800.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah.
Do most people end up at this bin?
Yeah, it's probably the best place to end up because you can see the actual print.
Right.
You can really see the colors, the size, and that seems to help a lot of people versus looking at a little photograph.
I would have a hard time with that. I think I really need to get more visual.
It opens up a lot of possibilities, but this, if we can find it here, this is great.
Well, that's why I let Shari do the book, and I thought I'd look at these.
So how'd you do?
Well, I pulled out a few that I want to get your opinion on, if you don't mind.
Sure.
This one right here really hit me because I was thinking of the fabric that we have.
Yeah, I like this a lot.
Isn't that nice?
It's got the colors you're looking for. It's not overly busy. It's got the impressionistic look that Shari and I were looking at.
Right.
This would be perfect.
Let's pull this up. I think that's it. To me it is, but I'd like to show Shari before we get started on
This
that.
has got great possibilities.
Okay.
Yeah.
How do you go about framing something like this?
Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to pull out the colors that you've got in this print, along with the colors that you've got in your fabric, and we're going to work up some frame jobs. I'll give you some ideas, and you guys can pick what you like.
Well, we felt pretty comfortable selecting the print that we liked, but when it came to matting and framing, we were pretty glad that Marlene was there to help us out.
That's right.
Let's work on some possibilities. How do you feel about the rust color?
I like the way the rust pulls out the pottery shades in here. In fact, all the warm colors I like very much.
What we could do is say maybe like a camel color, because you've got these colors in here.
Yeah, a lot of here in the stones.
And it's in your fabric also. Okay, so, and then if we want to keep it neutral, not real light, we could use something like this, for example, on top, like a sand color.
That looks very good. What about a frame then?
Well, besides just doing that, I think a possibility for this piece would be using a fillet. This can be used, you know, inside next to the print. It can be used sandwiched in between the prints, depending on what kind of look you want.
It might help if we looked at the frame with it, I think, so I can get a feel for
on here.
the look.
Now, something like this, is a little more dressy. Still very nice traditional look. Do you want the room a little more dressy, or do you want to go with something a little more casual, but yet that has the colors?
That is beautiful. I like that. Well, I don't know about Shari, but I'm sold on that combination right there.
I am as well. I love the way it picks up the colors, and it's going to be so nice with the fabric.
Hanging art could be a snap if you follow these easy tips. The first thing you want to do is you want to find center of the piece of art. Make a light pencil mark on the top of the piece. Decide how many hooks will be used to hold the print. A good rule of thumb is to measure the print. If it's more than 12 inches, use more than one hook. Pull the wire taut at the point where the hooks will be placed and measure the distance between the hooks. Then measure the distance from the wire to the top of the piece. Now you want to hold the piece in the position it will be hung. It should be no higher than a foot above your furniture. Make a mark on the wall at the point of the center of the piece. Measure down from the center using the measurements you took for the hooks, and then measure the distance between the hooks. A level will help for this. Place the hooks. Remember, hooks come in different sizes. Select the appropriate size for the piece of art. Now you just have to position it, adjust it, admire it, and that's how easy it is to hang art.
Well, now that you've learned what a snap it is to hang a picture, let's take a look at how easy it is to arrange art as well. The trend today is towards doing more than one piece in a grouping. What we have here is vertical, and it's very easy to achieve. Now, to dress it up, you might want to try something called a spacer. It's a little metal decoration that you just tack on in with little wire brads. And they come in pairs, so they're easy to get a hold of. You can find them in a frame or art shop. You might want to try a bow. This really dresses up this design and ties them both together. Simply hang it up above the art, and then you have to play with it a little bit to get it back behind. Here's one side. There we go. Now, you wouldn't use this with the spacer, of course. It would be gone. But by putting this bow down in here, we get a very nice look. Leave yourself a little space, rearrange, tug on it, and what a nice way to tie together a vertical arrangement. Let's go take a look at horizontal.
Hi.
Oh, how pretty. This is a great way to enhance a horizontal arrangement.
And it's really easy to do. All you need to do is measure a couple of inches above and below the pictures, and with a pencil, draw level guidelines. Mask off the area and paint the new color above and below. Cut your decorative molding to size and wash it with paint. Mount it on the guidelines with wire brads. Then touch up the nail heads with a dab of paint, and you've got a project worth bragging about.
It looks wonderful. How long did it take?
It's really easy to do. It takes about a half hour.
Well, that's a half hour that's well worth its while. Notice that with a horizontal arrangement like this, you can take a small wall and make it seem to stretch. Really. Now, here's another interesting way to arrange art. It's a combination of the vertical and the horizontal. And when you use four together that are a smaller size like this, they give you the feeling of one large picture. Now, I want you to take a look closely here. We've used pages out of a Victorian paper doll catalog. We've cut a mat and then wrapped it with fabric, and it frames up beautifully. Now, to make them really cohesive, come together as one, I think I could put a bow up at the top and frame around them. I'm not going to buy my bow. I'm going to stencil it on with paint. Let me go get the equipment, and I'll show you how easy it is to do. Now, you can purchase stencils already cut the way this one is at art stores all over. And you can see I've got my ribbon portion of it, the bow, already attached to the wall. Now, it's as simple as, I like to use just the top of the can lid and a natural sea sponge that's been dampened, and you can see I have a little bit of paint on there. Dip into the paint and dab off. I don't want to use too much right away. And then I come right up to the stencil and I start blotting in the paint. Lots of people use stencil brushes, but I prefer this method because it goes so much more smoothly and you don't get as much paint dripping around underneath the stencil. It seems to be a little bit safer way to go. I'll give it a couple more here and then we'll pull it off just to give you a feel for how this works. You can even shade and shadow by putting more paint in certain areas like around the edges. Set that down. and let you take a look at how nice this looks. Isn't that going to be a pretty design? We'll take a look at the finished one in a minute. Well, how about that? A few minutes of added effort can take something that looked very good to something that looks just great. I think that ribbon really tied the pieces together.
It's amazing where the inspiration for a project can come from. Going up and down the stairs, Shari thought it'd be a great idea for a decorative project, a stair stringer. I'm going to show you real quickly how to build one of these. You don't need a shop like this. You can do it anywhere in your home that's appropriate. I will be using a circular saw, but you can go ahead and use a hand saw for this project. In front of me are the tools that you need to do this project well. Don't forget though, the most important part are the safety equipment. The lumber you need for this is a 1x10 piece of pine. You also need your carpenter's square. Now the pieces are made up of a tread, which is what you stand on when you go down the steps, and the riser, which is the part between the steps. Now to lay this out, what you need to do is take your carpenter's square. The riser itself is 7 inches and the tread is 11 inches. You want to edge it to the board and then just take a pencil and simply draw it out and then match it down the next way. Fairly easy. Don't forget to put your safety equipment on before you start cutting. Now, using your circular saw, you want to cut out your riser and your tread. When you've made your cuts, you want to go back with a hand saw and putting it at an up and down angle, you want to make your final cut so that your circular saw doesn't cut into the wood that's exposed. Do this all the way through your marked lines until you've cut out your complete stringer. Now that you've finished cutting out your stringer, it's time to build the steps, and it's really easy to do. I took 1/2 inch plywood and I cut 2 strips. The width is 2.5 inches so that I can put some collections on here, or as we have, plates. Once you have cut those, you want to clamp them together using wood glue in between. You don't have to nail these together. Clamp these, such as I have right here, and set that aside and let it dry overnight. After it's dried overnight, you're going to cut the steps into 12-inch lengths. That gives you a nice 1-inch overlay on this riser. Now that you're ready to attach the actual step to the stringer, you want to start your screw holes with an awl. Just make a little quick punch for yourself. And I'm going to use 2-inch length drywall screws. Let's set this guy in here. That gives me a good starter. Now that I've laid this step, all you need to do is continue doing that down your stringer. When you're all done with that, prime it, paint it the color you like, and hang it.